Hello, my name is Ian Prosser and I'm with Botanica Design Studio in Tampa. Today I'm here having some fun with accent decor. And the products that we're going to showcase with you today are these beautiful lampshades behind me that are made of seagrass and these lanterns that are made with rattan. So today we're going to have some fun playing with some of these new products from Accent Decor. They have designed a line specifically for the event industry in these lampshades and beautiful lanterns. The products are made with a seagrass and also with rattan. Every event that we do has to have some points of real interest. Everything cannot be so small and ineffective. You have to have something that gives you some really great impact, and these lanterns are sure to do the job. Certain areas could be either over the dance floor, they could be over a cake, they could be over a bar, as we're going to do here today. When they come to you, they don't have power, so it's very easy to go to a DIY store and pick up the power pack to illuminate the actual lampshade itself. So this is going to be our starting point, and today we're going to show you how to cover these cables and embellish some of the lampshades to give you a spectacular look. So what we're going to start out with is we're going to add some of this Italian ruscus to the stem of the cable here to disguise it. How we want to do that is we're either going to use bind wire, or if you don't have that to hand, you can easily use a regular florist wire and cover it with corsage tape. It's easiest if you cut some small pieces and you just tuck it in your little finger, then it's easy to pull from. So what we're going to start out with is just attaching the Italian ruscus here. What I want to do is clip it off right at the very end here where the foliage starts, so that we don't have to cover that stubby stem. So what we really want to do is put a piece back to back and then quite easily pull your bind wire, and you're going to just put it around the cable and twist it. So you need to do that in several spots, and of course the very bottom is the most important. So we're just twisting it very slightly there, maybe 2 or 3 turns, and then we're going to clip off those ends so that they don't show up, because in photography it's the first thing that photograph will catch is your unfinished mechanics. And you could do these different lampshades with different intensities of foliage so that it does look a little bit more natural. Some of it you can leave loose, just like we have here, and you've got some attached to the cable, so then when you continue up the cable, we're going to attach more tightly and then attach another few stems to give us a more loose, natural way to do this. So now that we've completed all of these lampshades, we're going to add some embellishment to them just to add a little bit more design. You don't want to have a water source next to electricity. We have to remember that. So I've just taken a few stems, a stem of orchids and anthurium, 1 palm leaf and a piece of heliconia, and a little bit of Italian ruscus in here, and I've just attached it with some bind wire here, and then we're just going to add onto the lampshade. And you want to secure this in several spots to make sure that it's completely secure. Look what this does to the lampshade. It just completes it and gives a lot more detail. So you don't want to use flowers that are too heavy, because that would cause the lampshade to tilt to one side or the other. At the same time, you also want to use flowers that have been very well hydrated and that don't need water. You would not want to do peonies or ranunculus or anything like that up here, because they require water at all times, and other than water tubing, we don't really have a way to give them sufficient water to last through the evening. You see, there is some weight to this, so what we want to do is just add a little bit more just to make sure that it's very secure. And then in some situations you might want to do another one back to back if you want it to look fuller. Also remember that sometimes people are going behind this. Now in this situation we're over a bar, so we won't have guests or general public going behind the bar, but if you have an area over like a wedding cake or above the dance floor, then you certainly want to finish it on both sides Of course, it's more money, but you have to remember that as you price things out in your contract. So it gives you a nice amount of detail here, and I don't think it needs to be on all of them. So here and there just gives you enough interest to give it a little bit more pizzazz. All right, so I'm just gonna make a little hand tied for you that is gonna embellish this lantern that's sitting on the bar so that it coordinates with the lampshades, so that when these are raised, it gives you some really beautiful impact, and then on the bar, it just ties the whole thing together. So again, using a fairly sturdy leaf, I'm gonna add a couple of these anthurium leaves, which are wonderful. And then we'll add some orchids and perhaps some ginger. Now, this is where I can add a heavier flower because it's not going to be suspended, it's actually sitting in place. So I can use the ginger just to give me a nice splash of color. And it also ties in with the arrangement that's sitting on the bar. So we're gonna hand tie here. We're gonna add in another couple of leaves that will give us a really nice look. So we've got a couple of ginger in here. I'm gonna add the orchids just to tie the color in and make sure that this is also nice and tight. And then perhaps we'll add a couple of anthurium and then maybe lighten the color just a little bit with these really wonderful heliconias. So remember when you're doing this to keep your stems tight together and then to add the other flowers in. Have all of your tools close to hand because now this hand is occupied and you're gonna need everything close to hand so that it makes it a whole lot easier for you. So we're gonna do this. We'll take the bind wire and we're gonna catch it with one finger right here, and then we're gonna really keep this tight. So you're gonna pull on it. The stems are fairly thick and tropical, so they will not allow the wire to bite into it. So keep that nice and tight and just keep going round a few times just to make sure that they're very closely bound together. Okay, we're gonna twist that off just as we did with the foliage and the other flower groupings there. And so this is our completed item. Right here, nice little hand tied. We've got all sorts of different textures and colors that are gonna tie into everything else that we have on the bar. And then we can take another piece of bind wire and we're going to loop it through the actual lantern at this point. And what I would do is I would take it and twist it so that it's nice and secure on the item. And maybe we'll do that in a couple of spots. And then we'll take the hand tied here and we're just gonna lay it on. And then this allows us to get some really good purchase on the stems right here. So there we go. We see how this now ties in here, but the colors we've chosen here are a little bit stronger that ties into the accent arrangement that's sitting on the bar beside the lantern. So where do we go from here? How do we finish off this complete look? It's important that you take every detail to try and create the ambiance that the client is looking for. So in this situation, we have a little bit of a British West Indies feeling going on. Look at the mahogany color of the bar, look at the textures of the lampshades, the textures of the foliage and the flowers that you've chosen. So we have to just put the cherry on the sundae. It's really important that you take those details to the very end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some fruits and pomegranates. I've got some coconuts and different things like that that can just convey the message. So we've got some mango and star fruit and such like. So we're just gonna place the different fruits and vegetables. Now, what this then does is this connects this arrangement here to the lantern so that everything appears like one composition rather than A, B, and C. And so that's extremely important to take into consideration as you complete your design. The leaf is overlaying the fruits. We're adding some of the star fruit in here. lots of detail and texture and interest. We now need to take a step back to have a look at what we've created, just to see where we need these other few details. When we look at the composition here, what we find is that this side is heavy visually, so we need to tie that in and bring some detail down to this lower left corner. We're going to add some oversized monstera leaves that will just accent the lanterns here, but the great thing is it's in scale. Now look at the difference that makes, and it's only 3 leaves. The great thing is it has now added some pizzazz and made it tie into the whole vignette that we've created here. So what we want to do now is raise these lanterns, light the candles, and then we're done. Thanks for watching. To find the products used today, please visit accentdecor.com.